I've got Mark Cuda who's about to launch.
I can start at the beginning with, I had seen that Ryan and JP were in a video together once, but I had actually completely forgotten that they knew each other. And I didn't realize that they were good friends. And so when Ryan had asked me to, on my vision doc, when he was saying, hey, put on here your dream influencers, this is January of last year, JP was on that list. So there's a few other people that were on that list as well, but JP was one of them. Actually, JP was at the top of the list. When I sent that off to Ryan, he came back very quickly. It was like, oh yeah, the JP thing, we can totally make that happen. And that was obviously kind of a shock to me. I knew him for 6 months before we closed the deal, which is not that long of a period of time when you really think about it in terms of getting into business with somebody. But because of my multiple years of relationship with Ryan and the reputation that him and I have together, and then the same thing with Ryan and JP, there's so much built up trust that it allowed me to be able to make a relationship that was so influential for our business in the early stages happen at such an early stage of the business. That's, I think, just a really cool thing to think about. It's when working with a team like the Cap Fund, like the Back Room, like the 1%, the incubator, those types of relationships with people can be major stepping stones to other relationships that will be really, really powerful for your business. So for me, that was a big eye opener of wow, I'm in the in crowd now. I know enough people that I can get to most people. And that's really a different thing for, a bootstrap, nobody entrepreneur like me. I think that was a big part of it. And then of course, when I met JP in April, him and I just really hit it off. We're both husbands and newish fathers. He had just had his son. We were just about to have our twins, and we obviously had our 3-year-old. So we were able to bond over that. And we have very similar values and likes and dislikes, and actually learning that he thought about nutrition and lifestyle in the same way that I did, particularly with ancestral foods and with Weston Price and all those things. It was just such a good fit from the very beginning. And the relationship was just very strong and open and easy and comfortable from the beginning. It didn't feel like a business contract. It felt like, holy crap, this is two guys that like each other, that have an opportunity to partner in a way that's beneficial to everybody, including everybody's audience, everybody's business, and all of those different things. That was really how that happened. And it's been really exciting to be able to partner with him. Now we're doing this giveaway that if you sign up at fuelyourrevolution.com and you put in your email address, we're going to give away 2 tickets, VIP experience tickets to his West Palm Beach show, flights and a hotel and all that cool stuff. And I'm going to be there. My operator is going to be there. My wife is going to be there with me. And of course, JP will be there. And so that'll be a lot of fun to be able to meet, one of our customers, one of our fans right in the early days, and be able to make a cool experience like that. And obviously that's something that's going to be really good for our brand coming out the gate, to have something so legitimizing from the very beginning where most brands don't. And that obviously is a really, really good thing. We, along with what his team felt was best, after collaborating on it, it felt like the best time to have him really promote was when he actually has product in hand. And so we have actually been held up because our production has been delayed 1,001 times. And not only that, but the story about the manufacturer issue where we had to tank a manufacturer because my heart was beating too emotionally negative every time I spoke with him. There were just too many red flags that made me I can't do this. And then with our next manufacturer, because we were then grabbing them late Q3, early Q4, all of a sudden the timelines were way stretched because they're oh, we're already slammed for the quarter. And then it was hard to find material. And then Pronova, who makes the only material that we're willing to use for our beef and bone broth proteins, because they're the highest quality in the market, they almost couldn't sell us any because we hadn't previously placed a big enough order to be in the group of people who they're selling to because they have such low stock. So I had to call 1,000,000,000 people and call in favors. And my integrator in training, who is my cousin, who's been in operations and logistics for physical products for 10 years. I couldn't even believe it was such a good fit. The poor guy had 1,000 phone calls with our manufacturer and with Pronova and with multiple people at Pronova. And then we were literally 2 weeks ago about to hit production. And our manufacturer goes, something happened with the egg white that we had set aside for your order. And we're like, what do you mean something happened with the egg white? And it was this whole big mishap, and it got mislabeled. And so the product actually went back to the vendor. And then they tried to get it back from the vendor. And the vendor was like, oh, we already resold that. And they're like, okay, we'll buy some more. And they're like, oh, we're out of stock. So literally the last 2 weeks, Danny and I both have been on the phone trying to find our own sources of raw materials for egg white. And then everything we were finding wasn't meeting our quality quality standards. It was like been a whole mess. We finally, literally on Monday, our egg white finally arrived at the manufacturer. Yesterday, they blended our product, and today they overnighted me a production run sample from our actual production run. And they already have bottles in place. Don't even get me going on the bottle fiasco. It was almost impossible for them to even get us a bottle. It's like, oh, all we have is matte black that are fat and short, and literally couldn't find anything that we wanted. And in the end, we finally found the perfect bottle that is slim and it's tall and skinny and it has very short lips. It's like very modern. It's actually a bit thicker than some of the other bottles. Really a nice bottle. We just got those bottles in a week and a half ago. They finally came in. So now our labels are arriving, because there was also many delays with the label because QC people get sick and they go out of town, and oh my gosh, right? So many millions of things. 4 weeks ago, we went public with this April 22nd launch date. So it was like, there's no more room to fuck with this date. Like, we have to meet this date. And obviously we could have pushed the launch back, but the launch has been pushed back 4 times already, 6 months in total. So I was like, that's it. We're pulling out all the stops and we're launching 4/22/22 at 2/22, period. In the last 4 weeks, probably 10 or 11 all-nighters sitting at my desk for literally 24 hours at a time. And it's not even perfect. And the website that we're launching with isn't going to be perfect. The email collection page right now is ugly as hell. What I wanted was amber bottles, the slightly translucent bottles that are like that amber color. We're getting those for our next round, but we had to settle for black gloss. They look great, but it's not perfect. They totally changed the label size on us at the last second once they finally found the bottle, and I had to redesign a label I had already put 60 hours into designing. I mean, it's been like an absolute nightmare. So to circle back to the product getting in JP's hand, which is why I went on that, we have product overnighting, finalized in the bottle, sealed with labels. By the way, our labels have spot foil on a couple of places, and it's going to look incredible. We have 2 bottles overnighting to JP's house. They will be there this Saturday, and they will be at my house this Saturday. I already have a product photographer lined up. We're going to do some backdrop as well as lifestyle photography. When we get those literally over the weekend, I'm going to be shooting my VSL over the weekend. And then editing it with the editor that I have and doing some of the edits myself to get it literally launched next Friday. So like literally in like 5-day turnaround. JP's team is pulling together some email segments that they're going to start doing some promo to. And JP's going to have this in his hand on Saturday. He gets home on Sunday night from Kansas. He's doing a show. And then Monday, we will do some photography, some promo, et cetera, and then have him start promoting the launch. And then on my side, in terms of audience building, I've been experimenting with reels. I've been doing 5 to 7 reels per week. My last 4 reels in a row have gotten over 5,000 views, which is really big for how small my account is, and typically getting 10, 100, 200 views on reels. So they're just slowly starting to pick up. I was recently on an interview podcast, like a conversation podcast that's actually here in Orlando. It was a 2.5-hour episode, and it was really awesome. One of the clips from that show went viral on the podcast's TikTok. It's like up over 250,000 views now. So that's pretty cool. And I think kind of validating of some of the ideas that we want to share and the things that we want to bring to the world. Like if one of our clips is getting 250,000 views, like that means that what we're saying has some sort of resonance to it. And then I've been running a handful of little ads with just a couple dollars here and there, experimenting with a few things. Like I did a meme of Will Smith slapping Chris Rock, and it was like ancestral fuel slapping shitty animal protein. That ad, believe it or not, I'm still running it. It has been running for 2 weeks now, and it's generated me 176 leads for only $3.60 a lead. So if we convert 10% of those people into customers, we will actually be still a few dollars profitable on the first purchase, which, you know, Dan Kennedy says whoever can spend the most to acquire a customer wins, right? And so for us to even break even on a first purchase is awesome, because it means that we're able to acquire customers. So that's with no campaign. There's no real targeting setup. There's no like awareness and then consideration and then conversion. There's no retargeting. Like I haven't even used the pixel. It's just sitting there collecting a few hundred visits or whatever. But in the last 3 weeks or so, since March 25th, when I started doing some marketing, I've generated almost 500 leads on my email list, spending about $700 in total for everything that I've done. And that's in 3 weeks with only a handful of posts and a handful of things that I've run ads to. So that's also really validating to have 500 people on that list in just a couple of weeks. I definitely feel that once we have reviews and we've got a few thousand customers and we've got more data and we have more capital, that we can really start to turn that engine on. I think that we're going to have like a really, really strong audience that we'll be building. And then of course, none of that is even considering any of the promo that we get from JP, which was actually one of my goals. And I don't know that I would say that this is advice I would give to somebody, but for me, I like to do everything that I can do no matter what, right? Like I want to leave it all in the court because that's who I am. And whatever happens, I want to at least have peace knowing that I gave it my all. And so for me, I have been basically pretending or acting as if I don't have the JP partnership at all. Like we put the VIP experience as like a lead carrot for the giveaway, but we don't even really talk about it in any of the stuff that we're doing content-wise. So we haven't leaned on that at all. And rather, I've just been trying to lean on what I can drum up and create on my own, because that validates the business and the brand and the model without the glitz and glamour of having someone influential who's backing the brand. That's probably advice I would give somebody, right? Is like, build as if you have no resources. Not to say that you ignore the resources you have, but be scrappy enough that you can survive without the resources, because then once you layer on top of that the resources you do have, now you have something really special instead of getting lazy and entitled because you have all these resources. So that's been sort of my strategy with audience building, and it's had some success so far with very little spend. And I'm very excited to see what happens once JP starts pushing traffic towards the Fuel Your Revolution page, because I've said from the beginning, and I told Ryan, I told Sam, I told JP, I told everybody, there can only be one greatest goal for this launch, and that's that we sell out on launch day. What greater goal can you have? You like sell out in 20 minutes? Like, if we sell out on launch day, I think it says that we won as big as you could possibly win this particular launch. I have a little whiteboard on my fridge and it says things to do. And the only thing that's on it right now says sell 2,000 bottles of ancestral fuel. And that's just the only thing that I keep going back to is like, if 2,000 people get this stuff in their hands, I know that 30 to 40% of these people are going to want to buy the product again. It's that good. And the more people that have it, the more people that love it, and it's only gotten better. And I drink it every day. It's as good as I say that it is, right? Because I killed myself for 2 years to make it that way. My cousin and I probably have like 100 family and friends each that are going to buy on launch day alone. Like that's already 10% of the inventory. From the 2,000, we're only putting 1,900 available because I'm going to keep a few for me, keep a few for him, keep a few for promo, keep a few for JP, for other influencers, those types of things. So we're holding back 100 bottles to do that, and then putting the other 1,900 for sale. And then actually, when we launch, we're not launching with an e-commerce page. We're launching with a sales page, like a funnel, a more direct response style, just one page with an order form at the bottom. So I'm really curious to see what kind of conversion rates we can create with a very compelling piece that's got the VSL at the top and nice headline. And then at the bottom of the checkout, a checkbox order bump, not an OTO, but an order bump for a second bottle at a percentage off discount. And I actually sent the landing page to Mark Jenny. Him and I have been talking, off and on the last few weeks, and he's like, send me the landing page. Like, I want to help. And which is super cool for me because the guy's like a genius. And he had just like such incredible feedback on how to play into everything that is most powerful about this product and what makes it great. I kept telling him like, yeah, we're going to sell out on day one. Like we're going to sell out on day one. We're going to sell out on day one. And he's like, why isn't this on the page anywhere? Like, why is there no scarcity and urgency? And actually it's because I have a hard time asking for anything, right? And so for me, it's like hard to be like, hey, this shit's going to sell fast. So you better like buy, or literally isn't going to exist. And the thing is, with the way that materials are right now and how difficult it is to source, and with timelines, we're not going to have more material for at least 59 days. Like I did the math, and we don't expect to have more product for 59 days once this product sells out. The only way for you to ensure that you don't run out is if you buy 2 bottles. I have 10 people I can think of right now who have personally already asked me if they could pre-buy 3 bottles because they want to have some. And one of them is Raj. He's been trying to buy a bottle forever. And I'm like, I don't have a bottle, Raj. I promise. You'll have one of the first bottles. I promise. Multiple people have already asked about getting a second bottle. So funny enough, like the reason why I added the order bump, I don't even expect people to click it. It's for those handful of people who want to buy another bottle so that they don't have to do that, because we're not allowing you to change the quantity, because, we don't want somebody to buy 3 or 5 bottles and then other people don't have an opportunity to try it because there's such little stock. I'm definitely having fun trying to build this out in a way that is exciting for the people who are interested in the product and hopefully creates the result that we're looking for. And what we'll end up doing is like 45 days after we sell out, we'll probably open a limited pre-order for like a few hundred units and be like, hey, it's not even coming for another 4 to 6 weeks. But if you really want some and you didn't buy a second bottle before and you're out, like go ahead and go here. Only for existing customers, go ahead and go here, pre-order a second bottle. So I think that as long as the market responds to the product favorably, we have a lot of really good things lined up and a lot of chips in our favor. And, 250 people or so, 300 people in total have sampled the product at this point. And I have had exactly 5 people tell me that they didn't like it so far. And I've had many, many magnitudes more than that tell me how much they loved it and that how well it treated their stomach and how excited they were to buy it. The positive feedback so far has really outweighed the negative by a tremendous degree. I've rotated probably 4 or 5 creatives and sets of copy. And so I've turned on and off a couple of different ads. They're not running as a singular campaign. Rather, I'm creating ads one off. And I've run probably 5 different ads in total. All but one of them, I was running it to the fuelyourevolution.com landing page. And so I've generated probably 315, 320 leads through that page by sending traffic to that, and had spent probably about $300 on that. The other method was literally one ad. It's a carousel ad that the first slide is the Will Smith, Chris Rock thing. The second slide is literally just the hype video. It kind of tells the basic version of the story and how ultimately this protein is a 6 ingredient only, ultra premium animal-based protein powder that's designed to support your muscle building goals as well as your digestive health. That ad I ran as a Facebook lead ad. So just using like the internal Facebook lead collection ad. And that one is the one that on its own, with no tweaks except for doubling the budget because it was doing so well. So I was like, hey, let's put another $500 in it. That one's generated 176 leads so far in the last 10 days or so. The ad that I'm running currently with the Will Smith meme, that one is still running strong. Thought it was going to last for like a day or two, but it's been like 16 days that it's been running. That's the creative. Then the other slide on the carousel was just the launch video. So for me, what I can speak to personally that has been so beneficial, transformative, and powerful about working with the capitalism team has really just been the people on the capitalism team itself. The relationships that I have built with the team and all of the amazing things that the team has done for me. The incredible conversations I've had over the years with Ryan and with you and with Inez and Teresa and Alex and Chris and everybody has always been so beneficial to me in a personal way and in a professional way. And the people at capitalism.com is what makes capitalism.com what it is. And for me, it's been those relationships that have not only helped me overcome direct obstacles, but also become the kind of person who can overcome obstacles. And also, it's been such a great reminder that I'm not crazy and I'm not terrible at this. I'm okay at it. And that there's other people just like me grinding and struggling in the same way, or who aren't anymore, but who have and know what it's like. That's a big thing for me as well. Being the camaraderie of other people who are going to hell to try to find heaven. That's what I've been doing my whole career. And when you don't have a community of people just like you, it's easy to forget that there are people like you to begin with. And so the capitalism team and community has been so beneficial to me in that way of reminding me, hey, I'm not the only one. Hey, you're not the only person who feels this fear, who feels this doubt, who feels this anxiety, who doesn't know what to do here, who makes a mistake, who puts something out that isn't perfect. Like, we all do it, and it's just part of the game that we're playing. And that's been the biggest thing, working with people who remind me of that and being a part of a community of people who are that. It's sort of surreal to even imagine that like this is really happening and this product is about to hit the world. And if it does as well as I think that it's going to do, we have some really cool things that we can do with this. Like, I want to see it in Vitamin Shop. I want to see this in Whole Foods and obviously our other SKUs as well. I really want to build not like a rinky-dink brand. It's not even about like the exit or the money. I've always been a huge fan of beautiful brands, of of like brands that impress you. The Apples of the world. I've always been a fan of really strong brands. I just love that whole idea and that whole world. And actually, Mickey's talk last year at Capcom and looking at her companies and the way that they built the things that they did, we will get there because that's where I'm trying to go. It's very rich and sophisticated feeling of like, oh, this brand has glue. You know what I mean? Like it meshes well. It's all cohesive. We're step by step getting there. I think it could be a really, really cool brand, and I'm excited to see what happens. Thank the whole team for me too, for just everything that you guys have done for me and for the business. And it doesn't go unnoticed, and it's very much appreciated. And I'm also very thankful for the promo that you guys are doing for the launch too. I mean, obviously, I'm in the fund, it makes sense, but I'm appreciative nonetheless. So thanks for that.